Welcome to the Haven. I am Achilles. We are here with the Hungry Hippo team. We have the Rippo representing the team. Just a quick reminder, nothing you hear on this recording is financial advice, and AMAs are a chance to ask questions. They're not endorsements. Mr. Rippo, please tell us about the project.
All right. Well, I'm just going to go off the cuff here. I have myself. I'm from Core. We have Maxie here as well. Our project is unique yet basic. We think essentially what we're doing is we started a private seed. We're going to move into a pre-sale after the AMA, but essentially, of all funds collected, we're taking a different approach. 80% of all funds collected for this project are going to be locked in an Ethereum liquidity pool. So basically, we're shooting for a 50% APY at minimum, and we're going to take 10% of all funds collected. We're going to pair that on BSC. We're going to do a HHH BNB pairing. We're going to take 10%. We're going to lock that up for team and marketing, and we'll get to that in a bit. But essentially what we're doing is trying to create we're going to create a very tradable token. We're offering a 3% buy, 3% sell. All of that is going to go to burn. Okay, so this is going to be locked 1 year. It's going to be renounced upon launch. And so what is going to happen is you are essentially going to be fighting for market share in a fun way. We like to think it is fun for a part of that ETH pool. So your market share on your BNB / Hungry Hippo's pairing is going to be directly proportionate to your payout of that ETH pool. Whether you bought in a private sale, whether you buy in a week after launch, or whether you buy in 90 days after launch. So the goal is to create a safe contract that's very tradable. We want volatility. We don't want too much. This isn't like 2 BNB DGen LP. We're going to have about 78 upon launch, but essentially it's going to be a very high tradable, heavily tradable token with a lot of burn. We're hoping to burn about 20%. So the end of the whole 12 months, when things unlocked, we're going to pay everybody out. Every single holder who holds at that unlock time is going to be paid directly proportional to their market share. And the numbers are looking good. We don't want to overpromise, but we've estimated, if Ethereum for some reason hits 5,000 by September 2023, like a 1% payout based on our numbers, for like 1,000 BNB raised would be somewhere around like 15,000 for that person. And of course, you can't predict exactly what's going to happen. We didn't hit the 1,000 BNB mark, but the numbers are going to be proportional. It's down to a science.
All right, let's take it back a little bit there. So you guys said you had a private round. How large was that?
So the private, exact numbers, I'm not sure. I want to say around 100 BNB for the private. And the reason I say I don't have the exact numbers, we did a few different wallets. So we have Matt and Ray here from Rebel Traders. They actually offered to vouch for us. Our whole team docs to them, passports and all. They actually held a seed wallet for us, which we did a multi-sig for. For those who don't understand what that is, it requires a sign-off. 3 out of 4 core members need to sign that to do anything with it. So that was kind of a safety precaution. We also had a main a seed wallet, which was not the most popular because who wants to give BNB to an undoxed anonymous team? We understand that, and we had one for a Vietnamese community. So I'm not sure of the exact numbers, but I want to say around 100 for the race.
Okay, and what percent of the tokenomics are being allocated for those tokens? Also, is there a vesting period for private holders?
No, there's absolutely no vesting period. So once we go live, if you bought in private, you can sell those. You can sell immediately. The only locked tokens that we have, we're going to lock some away for, and we can get to that later, NFTs and stuff like that, and like a second raising. And then the team wallet. The team wallet is already locked. The team tokens are locked right now. You can view that on the pink sale. And I'm sorry, your question was the percentage for the tokenomics as far as allocation?
Yeah, like what percentage of the coins are going towards the private sellers? If you could actually just give us the whole allocation
Okay,
rundown, that would be
sure.
awesome.
Absolutely. So anybody who contributed in private is going to get, or that they would have received a 10% bonus on their tokens. Anybody who contributed 20 BNB or more, which I think we had one or two do that, they get a 20% bonus. So how this is going to work, we had this down to a science based on what we thought we would potentially raise. We had a goal in mind. Our goal was kind of, we put it on 1,000 BNB because we said, we should have no problem doing this as a docs team, but anonymous is a challenge, so we set it a little bit lower. So with our pink sale, they require 51%, a minimum of 51% to go to liquidity. So we had to take those numbers and base it off of a 600 BNB total raise, in which that 10% would be approximately 80 BNB, and that's our liquidity right there. So that 49% will go to the ETH pool. But yeah, we're gonna get everything locked and loaded, and if that 80%, because if you look at our white paper, it'll say 80% of funds raised will go into the ETH pool. If we don't hit that, instead of burning the rest of the tokens, we're gonna save that for a second round raise for NFTs. But yeah, regardless of,
and I can jump on that a little bit, Rippo,
yeah,
if you want, in terms of the numbers.
Yeah, this is Ray. Yeah, please do. Ray is a very good numbers guy, and that's why he's here, because he explains it very well. So yeah,
Ray,
take it away.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I don't know how we first heard these guys as they came across our desk in our channel, and I fell in love with this idea instantly because like what the program is doing is like actually protecting liquidity for once, because we've all been in those projects where, man, you invest in private or invest in pre-sale, and it does good for a little while, but then everybody panics and it dumps, and you're left with nothing but dust. And so, like, the approach to this project is so different, and it's exciting to me because I'm like, man, this is great, because taking those funds and locking it away in an ETH pool that's earning interest that's going to be paid back to all the holders. I'm like, that's fantastic, right? Because you still get to trade and have fun. You can have all this opportunity to make profit off of swing trading, or in the awesome chance that this moons, like, this could be the next big meme. So it's such a nice name, such a cool concept with the Hungry Hippos. But we're actually kind of working backwards on this. Is what's happening. Like, and that's, as they're explaining this to me, I'm like, what? And then it made sense, right? Like, if you're going to have 10% liquidity, the pre-sale rate is 12,500 tokens per BNB. And so that 10%, that 1 million tokens is going to get locked up with 80 BNB off the pre-sale. And then the seed sale, working backwards, and I actually I ran the totals while Rippo was talking, and it was a total of 98.3 BNB. And so they're receiving 1.4 million tokens, or 14% of supply. And then we're pre-selling the 160 BNB. That's going to be 20% of supply. And so, yeah, obviously the team is anonymous. That's why we stepped in and says, hey, we'll help represent, and we'll vouch for you guys. But I really like their ethos of sticking with anonymity. I was reading the Twitter post last night, or maybe it was in Telegram, where they said, they could have raised 1,000 BNB by doxing, but that's just relying on all of the things you already know. And I truly agree that there's a chance for this to become something even bigger with this kind of building from the ground up. It's really I can see it's forcing some creativity for them. But yeah, so as of right now, at 98 BNB from the private sale, 14% of supply is being allocated there. 10% of supply is going into pink sale liquidity. 20% of supply is going to pre-sale. So that's a total of 34% going to pre-sale and seed sale. And the rest, what they're talking about locking up for future NFT. Like, I like the idea that they've talked some and teased some about NFTs, and the idea of having some special features, because we all want to have utility with that. Things like actually being able to claim a larger share of that ETH pool, or getting a zero tax buying privilege that's available through the NFT for people who are wanting to swing trade. So the remaining tokens are going to get locked up. they're not going to receive any portion of the ETH pool unless they're actually bought and that extra money is added to the ETH pool. And that will increase the jackpot. Like as it stands right now, after we close this pre-sale up, like the total is looking at a target jackpot of about 270,000. And I keep saying I'm really honored that the team has invited me to speak on their behalf, like because I've been in DMs and talking with these guys and gals for weeks, just like wrapping my head around this, because this is the coolest thing I've seen, the most innovative thing I've seen in a while. But my biggest thing was like, oh crap, why did this have to be on a non-team? So I was really happy. They'd heard about Matt from different circles because he's got a great reputation in the space, kind of guy that a lot of people go to for help with contract work and solving problems or writing contracts and swappers. And they knew him from some other project he had helped with. And they actually KYC'd to him specifically. And when Matt came back, he said, this is the next big thing. Like he's going in heavy on this and it's legit. And so I was like, all right, let's do this. So this is really weird for me because I don't really stick my neck out for other projects, right? Like I'll post stuff in FA and all that. But I'm really honored that they offered to make me an official representative of the project. And that's why I'm kind of saying we, like speaking on behalf of the team, because they've read me in on all the details and helped me understand, and I get it, and I love it because I'm a math guy, and I'm like, dude, for me, like whether you're a trader and trying to swing trade this, or whether you're just like, I never want to look at this, you don't even have to add this to your wallet. If you want to launch some money at this and never add it to your wallet, at the end of the 12 months, you're going to receive, the team hasn't decided whether it's going to be Ethereum or convert it back to BNB, but you're going to receive your return on that based on that staking pool. Now, if you want to jump in there and trade, go for it. And the beauty of this is like, you can see on Pink Sale, it's starting at right at around a $200,000 market cap. The beauty of this is that 3% of every transaction, it's all true burn. It's deleting the supply. And so it's not going to take a tremendous amount of volume to really decimate what's there and increase your market share of that jackpot. So I think what's important to know is that, with Pink Sale and the private sale, only 34% of total supply is pre-sold. And on top of that, any additional supply that is sold through NFTs or any other way, that's simply going to add 100% of that going to the jackpot. So, I think the team would love to see that at $500,000 rather than $250,000. And we're going to create ways for that to happen as we continue to build trust and as the word gets out about this project and what it's doing. And so I kind of joked with the guys and said I would make it official today. I haven't changed my PFP since I started in the space over a year ago. And they were like, when are we going to get a hippo for Ray? And I was like, no way, I haven't changed my PFP ever. But here it is, my hungry rebel Ray, because again, there's not much in this space that's new, but this is new, right? It's not promising some janky, crazy utility that may or may not ever materialize. They're just doing something safe, so you can trade and have fun. So it satisfies your degens and your gamblers and your traders. You can invest and hope for a moonshot, absolutely, because I think it has potential. I mean, what a name. Or you can just invest and know that your LP is secure. You can close your eyes on it. Like I always say, I love to sleep on my investments because I like sleeping. And so, like, it ticks all the boxes.
Oh, no, I respect that. Sleeping on coins is a luxury I like to afford. Okay, so I'm talking to the right guy. I have a question for you guys. So it sounds like a lot of this treasury is going to be volume based, and it also sounds like, if I understand correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, only about 10% of the total supply is going to liquidity. Is that correct?
10%
right,
of the
so
total supply is going to liquidity, so it moves well, but it's going in there with 80 BNB, so it's not going to like just moonshot out of the gate.
Okay, so we won't see any inflation until like much higher market caps then. That was a question.
I think so. I ran the numbers on it, and like it's going to take about 34 BNB worth of buying at launch to hit a 2x, right? So that's a comfy range. It's going to move, and we actually like that. Like I like the idea of it trading in the channel because it's going to burn the fire out of supply. Like at this market cap, if it trades between like a 1 and 5x or a 2, like I think the numbers that I looked at was like between a 2 and 5x. And over the course of 12 months, with this low tax renounced contract, if that catches, $500,000 worth of volume a month, 6 million volume, that's going to burn 30% of supply. So you're looking at the people who did buy in pre-sale. If they didn't touch it, if they just left it, like that jackpot, the percentage of the jackpot is growing rapidly on that. And that was one of the things like I liked when the team presented that. Like, we want all true burn. There's no distributor contract. It's going to be dumping on the chart. There's no dev tax. There's no all this stuff. Like, it's just pure and simple, like safe, renounced. And it's kind of like everybody has the opportunity to do well. I mean, yeah, you can be a crazy trader. If this thing goes 20x and you buy the top candle and it drops to 10 and you sell, I'm not going to promise you that you're going to make money on that, but you know what I'm saying.
Yep. Well said.
All right, guys. So
this is what we bring up, right?
No, very well said. My man. Okay, so got to be honest with you, and I'm saying this to all the projects lately. We are in the midst of a bear market. I've seen large raises sort of kill a lot of the buy pressure at launch. So what is your marketing strategy for launch? And then tell us, give me like the exact dates of the pre-sale, how long it's running for, and then when you expect the coin to go live as well.
So, okay, the pre-sale is going to start, and it's about 1 hour and 40 minutes. Okay, so we're going to kind of get that done. So the hard cap is going to be 160. We expect that to go pretty quick. And I agree with what you said about, a lot of buying pressure is killed. So, a lot of projects will put in no limits, and, you wind up with 800 BNB on a raise, and then people, they're like, oh, hey, let's hit that profit range so we can kind of, take our initials or whatnot, and then it doesn't happen. So I understand that. So plans for marketing, we've all talked about it. Like, we kind of enjoy the fact that this is a challenge in itself, that, being an anonymous team, by choice, we kind of want to see what kind of community grows out of it. So, first step is getting the word out there. This is our second AMA, and we probably have about 2 more before the actual launch. We want to just kind of spread the word, see who's interested. And, from my experience and who I've shared this with in DMs and other people, the feedback was like, great. I'm on my anonymous Hippo account, and I have a lot of people, it feels kind of sneaky, to be honest with you. But like, I'll just send it out like, hey, check this light paper out. And then people are like, what? like, all right, let's talk about it if you're interested. So we've had really good positive feedback from, not only marketers, but people in general. So I think the first step is, get the word out, kind of somewhat build a brand. I mean, so far, everything's been done in-house. Our Solidity dev, he did the contracts, pretty basic. We've all worked on like the whole like graphics, like logos and stuff. If you look at it, it's meant to come off in somewhat of an unassuming way and kind of childish. I took this to a lounge and said, hey guys, you want to check out this light paper? Tell me what you think. Like, I thought they were going to critique the project, and they said, you're using 3 different fonts. This thing is, I'm like, no, like it's supposed to look like that. So, we may put some thought into letting, building a community, letting them decide, like, what do you want to see? We had some guy the other day, he said, I'm envisioning fat hippo NFTs. Some people are into that. I like the utility aspect of NFTs. I'm not a huge fan of just having them for, just their appearance. But I think our marketing, I think we've agreed that we'll just get the word out there. We want to appeal to not only, native English speakers, but we want to throw this out as a renounced contract. There's a lot of people in the Asian market who like to trade low tax and renounced projects, because a lot of them, English is not their first language. So it's understandable to be skeptical, especially with an anonymous team, or even a concept they may not realize. Maybe they won't realize that we have this giant opportunity of, hold 12 months and get that payout from the ETH pool. Maybe they just want to trade 3% tax, and throw in 10 BNB and hope for, half BNB profit on a quick sell. So I think the step after that is just letting the communities decide, like, do you guys like this? If you do like it, embrace it. And what can we do for you? There's no marketing on the tokenomics. We have a 10% of the 10 million tokens. That's locked to the team. That doesn't mean that the team is going to take, 10% of this and just say, we did it, guys. if we need to market, this is going to come from our pockets. If we do a good job, we'll profit, but we're willing to say, hey, whatever community becomes of this, what do you guys want? Let's do it. We're announced. There's no CEO. I'm talking right now, but I'm not the leader of this project. Like, we're all equal. We all offer different things. We all come together and with the same goal is just it's an experiment, man. It's fun. It's really fun. So yeah, marketing, exposure, first round, and then let's soak it up like a sponge, see what people want, and see what we can do to make that happen. That's my take, at least.
Okay, you touched on a few things I want to talk about. So, international's the spirit of DeFi, right? I love it. Would you guys have any other groups to maybe communicate with the non-English speakers? And what are your plans to, what areas would you like to target internationally starting off?
Well, as far as groups go, yes. I won't mention names right now. I don't want to imply that we've already cut a deal, but I've worked with the Chinese market a few times with a few smaller projects I've done, and through our current marketers and stuff and connections, I found a few very nice connections with people who I can trust. For instance, the first group I mentioned, first time I worked with them, I gave her my project, and I was like, would this go over well? Because, they have this channel with so many subscribers, and they have this buy bot. She's like, yeah, I think they'd like it. They just look at the buy bot, and then they run you through the scanner, and if you're renounced, you look safe, they'll trade you. I'm like, what? So I gave her all my info, and she's like, well, just give me some time, and I'll get this taken care of for you, no problem. And I'm kind of skeptical, not having worked with this person, but she came back and she translated everything to a T. It was just like, it was perfect. And I'm not going to say that channel made us moonshot, but she became a very trusted source. And, as soon as I advertised on that channel, of course I had DMs just like you get, in the US or UK, anywhere that you are in the world, you're going to start getting people that want to take advantage of you as a person or get your business. So I had all these DMs, and so I started forwarding these to her, and I'm like, hey, can I trust this? And she's like, no, don't trust that, because this is why. So she became very trusted. We have a few of those. As far as, outside of China and Asia, yeah, I have a nice connection with somebody in Turkey, and he's very familiar with the European market, Twitter out there. He's going to help us do a lot of, reach a lot of people who we would normally have connections with. And once again, he's trusted, and it's been proven. So yeah, DeFi is hard. It's hard to trust. It's hard to trust an anonymous team. It's hard to trust somebody who's just on, sitting at a keyboard on the other side of Telegram. So, and we've gained trust. We think it's pretty diverse. Lounges, first of all, we have Matt and Ray here. They started Rebel Traders. I'm not sure how long ago, but they've been around. They're well known. We've been pushed into other lounges, and I've personally made connections, as I'm sure we all have, with people. And like I said, keep saying, we are an anonymous team, but it's for the right reasons, and it's a specific reason. But I'm on my main account, Achilles. I DM you from my main account. You can vouch for that. Whether it's me or not, that's, but my point is, I have a lot of connections, and I'll be like, hey, yeah,
we
let's talk about
voice
this.
messages.
I'm a human. Yeah, I'm alive. I'm real. But yeah, there's lounges and stuff, and I don't sit here on my Rippo account all day. I'll be on my main account, and people who I trust to understand why we want to be anonymous. Yeah, we're going to do one on Sunday, I think at 9 p.m. With a lounge. She's like, well, my people don't feel necessarily comfortable. I'm like, well, we'll come talk to you, as a group, no problem. It's not about being hidden. There's nothing fishy going on here. It's for the, aesthetic reason of, it's not about us. It's about the project. That's kind of what we want to go with. So.
Sure. Okay. So since we're talking about anonymity, I think one thing that a lot of us look for in a case like that, renouncing is great, but we also want to make sure the contract is safe. Have you guys had any audits, or do you have any plans to do so?
Yeah, we went through. I'm sorry, was that an echo, or is that who was that?
Me. That was me.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, no, we went through Desert Finance first, just because our initial thing was like, let's just get a freebie or a quickie in real fast, and then we'll move forward. We just put up an InterFi audit a few days ago, and that's on our links. If you visit our Telegram or our announcement channel or our website, there's an InterFi audit on there. It should be also available on the pink sale as well.
Excellent. Audits are always cool. Okay, you mentioned the NFTs and the utility behind them. What is that? I don't think I understood.
So the NFTs are just kind of being tossed around. So essentially, we were all sitting there thinking, okay, well, what is our goal? What do we want? What would be amazing? And just for basic, math purposes, we said, okay, 1,000.
I'm sorry, buddy. I think we lost you there.
You did. I apologize. Yep, this happened the other day. Okay, we're back. So as far as the NFTs go, we thought of them as a useful way to do the equivalent in stocks, just like a second raising of funds. So, we're going to be launching with this specific LP with our pairing. The NFTs would give us an opportunity to increase that ETH pool. So, for instance, we tossed around, like Ray mentioned, like a zero tax trading. So, if somebody wanted to buy this NFT because they really want to trade this token, they think they can, get some gains by doing 3 or 4 trades a day. They could pay X amount, and that would contribute, proceeds would go to that ETH pool for, available to all holders at the end. We've toyed around with a few ideas, and it became complicated. It was me specifically that made it complicated. I'm like, well, we can do this and we can do that. And then, everybody's like, well, let's keep it basic. But yeah, essentially we think that likely we're going to be doing an NFT line. I don't have all the details right now. It's not set in stone, but the purpose of them would be to, utility reasons and to raise funds to lock into that pool to make the jackpot larger. So end of the day, we want to have a nice payout. Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, what's nice about that is that that just is for looks, right? If you have 100 people in and the jackpot's $100,000, or 200 people in and the jackpot's $200,000, it's the same amount of jackpot if it was equally distributed, but it just looks nicer, right? Like, I'm already excited that they're coming out and posting a $250,000 jackpot. But let's just say that another 200 BNB could be raised through the sale of NFTs or any other way. That's going to do nothing but increase that jackpot, make it even sexier for people who are like, how does that work? How are they doing this jackpot? And that still takes it kind of back to the core and the heart of things. And Rippo, if it's okay with you, I'd love to see, I'd love Maxi to come up. Maxi's not really a Telegram person, so to speak. But he brings
welcome
such an
to chaos,
thing.
my man.
Yeah, welcome to the chaos. But he's our ETH man, and we started out saying the team is really deeply connected in marketing and in different markets, and this person is the one who's bringing the heat and kind of the guts of this project, which is safety and security. Regardless of how much we've raised, people are going to get that kind of assurance of the portion of their raise is going to the ETH pool that's coming back to them. And that doesn't change regardless of the size of the project. But I'd love Maxi to explain a little bit about kind of the origins of this and what is happening with that 80%, so that everybody understands how it's possible that you could invest in a seed sale or a private sale or a pre-sale and get back more than what you put in while we're still trading, and how that protects that liquidity. So yeah, take it away, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
absolutely appreciate it. Yeah, I'm definitely not on Telegram all that much, but I talked to Rippo here and there, just on a few different projects, and then obviously my dedicated space is Twitter Spaces and Discord. So we've touched base, and we were talking about a year ago about something that I had gotten into, and I guess just a real quick background is the way certain protocols interact with each other with decentralized exchanges is much different between, say, Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum. If you don't know, PancakeSwap, the way they pay back their liquidity to say cake holders is they actually take a small percentage fee on every buy and sell, and they take that in either your token, your inside economy token. So if we use PancakeSwap for Hungry Hippos, they'll take a small percent of that, dump on your chart since you're on their network, and then pay back in cake. And what some Ethereum protocols do differently is they ask for liquidity. It's not a liquidity pool, even though that's like the easiest way to say it. So what we're doing is providing capital liquidity in the lending contract, and that's paid back a certain percentage based upon the volume buys and sells on that exchange. And they take a certain percentage of the buys and sells and provide it back to the liquidity providers. It doesn't require a sell because it's coming out in the principal transactions in Ethereum getting paid back in Ethereum. And so that's why it works. It's been working that way for the past 4 years. And I was talking to Rippo one day about it, and like we're just talking back and forth, and he's like, man, this would be a cool project to do on BSC. And having not really interacted with BSC, he was explaining staking protocols. And it blew my mind because staking in your own native currency is just making your project illiquid and further increasing sell pressure because people are looking at it as free money and killing projects. And so that really
Agreed.
really ruined me, because I was like, what we could do, man, is thankfully I've been an Ethereum holder and Ethereum investor about 6 months post launch that Ethereum came on market. And so I have the connections and I have the network to make this happen. And I was like, here's what we can do, man. We can use my network as an outside staking platform that will return high APY guaranteed. And then on volume transaction, it can be even higher. And it's an external source for a quote unquote staking platform, but it is a guaranteed rate of return. So even the great thing about this is, even if Hungry Hippos quote unquote crashes and dies, right? And you have X amount of holders, in a year's time, they're going to get paid. You're going to get paid. Like for the past 4 years, I have been getting paid from these chain protocol capital liquidity, because it's not staking, it's providing capital on a lending platform. It's like giving your friend $10 and saying you owe me X%, and that comes back weekly, and then you provide it again, and it comes back weekly. You provide it again, comes back weekly. So it's not staking, it's capital lending. I could do a whole segment on that, but this is guaranteed. And we're not illiquid. Like, the project will not become illiquid because we're doing an internal staking platform. That just won't happen. So it's external, it's off chain, it's in Ethereum, but that return is a guaranteed rate. And then based upon volume, hey, the merge is coming up. We're going to have an extreme set of volume. And then if you look on the macro side with the current White House, SEC, and DIS regulation coming through for high energy cap for proof of work systems like Bitcoin, they're starting to see pushback on the macro and micro level in the US. That's just going to push volume again to Ethereum, which is going to push volume on decentralized exchanges. Super stoked about seeing the return on this jackpot increase even further. So it's a different way of looking at it. Again, I'm sorry, I'm not a BSC guy. I'm an ETH maxi for sure, but I'm really excited to see how this plays out using an external quote unquote staking source for a reward system.
No. I love this. And any chance we get to actually educate people about anything in DeFi makes me very happy. So I don't want to keep you forever, but would you mind give to those that don't understand, what is a brief example of capital lending outside of this project, and how does it correlate directly to this project?
Are you asking for like a specific project set, or just how capital lending works?
The general core concept.
Okay, so I guess I'll use PancakeSwap as the best example, right? So you need liquidity. Liquidity is needed in DeFi. It's needed in every sense of the word for, let's say, New York Stock, London Stock Exchange, or the Australian Stock Exchange. Liquidity is needed. In institutional finance, you have clearinghouses that act as intermediaries between banking sets. So if I want to buy Apple right? And I need to, or I want to sell Apple. Market makers make sure that there's adequate liquidity for buys and sells to be transactionally seamless. They take my sell and then they sell it back on open market. In DeFi, there is no central clearinghouse liquidity. So you have external sources, and that's either venture capital or you have pooled capital from individuals. What makes
Wait,
DeFi
real quick,
hard?
just to
Yep,
differentiate. So that would be a centralized exchange versus a decentralized exchange.
correct. Correct. But even an argument could be made for centralized exchanges. But we'll stick to DeFi. We'll stick to DeFi.
Fair, fair.
So in order to make DeFi work, right? Name your shitcoin, right? Pink Panther. I was given the history rundown on SafeMoon, which blew my mind, right? So let's say SafeMoon takes a shit, Pink Panther, whatever, right? And you have a worthless token. You can still sell that token for whatever the current cap set is for the worth of your tokens. Nobody thinks about why can I sell my tokens when there's not a market. The answer is market makers. That there's liquidity set to make sure that DeFi runs the same as institutional finance investments because there's market makers that provide liquidity. That liquidity has to be paid back somehow. And that is paid on a high interest rate because you are taking on risk. Or in this case, Hungry Hippo's capital being lent to that decentralized exchange is taking risk. So the reward is much higher. It's the same as banks providing liquidity. They're taking on assessed risk, but they're still taking on risk. They're rewarded in turn with a higher return payment system. So we make sure that there's seamless transactions on DeFi. There's always a buyer, there's always a seller. Because we're the clearinghouse, we get paid back a higher interest return rate on our capital that's lent. And then every week that we consolidate, and then it's sent back again as essentially a new contract or as a new capital liquidity loan. And then it comes back on Friday, Saturday, it gets reset, and we provide it back. So it's compounding interest on a weekly basis. That's why that rate of return can be so high.
That is a utility I have not seen on the BSC, at least not for a very long time.
It can't, unfortunately. So that's a big thing. That will never, that style of liquidity lending, for the most part, will never happen on Binance Smart Chain. And I could go into the technicals on that, but we would need about a 3-hour AMA. But unfortunately, due to the hard fork that happened from Ethereum and Binance coming out, and the way they run their liquidity on BSC, BNB, and because they use internal tokens or BNB is used as an internal liquidity supply for Binance.com, Binance.us, unfortunately, it most likely will never happen. So, yeah.
Well, that answers my cross-chain question. You guys are already indirectly cross-chain by the way that you're investing and returning funds. Cool.
100%, yeah.
And we all know Ethereum has a pretty cool month coming up here. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that explanation just kind of knocked the rest of the questions out of me here. Give me just a moment. Let me look over my notes. Okay, so we talked about there being a 78 BNB liquidity pool at launch, and that it would require about 34 BNB to 2x that with the amount of tokens that you guys gave to liquidity. As far as the treasury is concerned, what will be the opening amount? And then give me just a careful rundown of the funding. Exactly.
So the opening amount, let's pull that up. When you count everything, because obviously there's been some that's set aside for marketing and some that's going in there. And I just want to pull up the chat because I don't want to just shoot from the hip on this. We plan to make an announcement after the pre-sale because, we want to be sure that fills. But I'm very confident about that. And I think that, let's see. All right. So if the pre-sale fills, our jackpot target is going to be 27 ETH. And so again, like with everything that's going on in the future, and as we're coming into 2024, we're really, really have our sights set on a steady growth for Ethereum. None of us know exactly where it's going to be, but the important part is that our goal is to return a 50% return to all token holders. So that's a little bit higher than even a 50% APR on that 27 ETH. And what we're putting in as a target jackpot at the end of 12 months is $270,000 based on a $5,000 Ethereum token. Now, granted, if some of the things that Josh was talking about take place, that could lead to a higher Ethereum price and an even higher jackpot. If the Ethereum merge creates a lot more transactional movement on this, again, top tier decentralized exchange that we're utilizing, then we're going to be able to increase that rate. And that's why we're trying to under promise and over deliver. So our target is a 50% return to all token holders. And that's the benefit that we're offering everyone. So all of the tokens that are out there, and we had to factor in, there's going to be tokens in PancakeSwap that people are buying out. And we're also factoring in the idea that there's going to be a lot of burning in this token. So that's going to be something that one of the things we're going to do on a weekly basis, and I agreed to help the team with, is kind of providing these mathematical updates. And we are going to key in on this jackpot, this amount that's available, and help everybody to see where it's going. So in addition to those weekly updates, we're going to even offer a monthly incentive of a token jackpot. That's one of the things the team has talked about. I'm kind of calculating amounts, and that'll be part of that set aside. In addition to that, that's going to be something that kind of keeps the team rolling throughout the 12-month period, so that this is something that is maintained and maximized, and the incentives are there and clear as day.
Okay. I think you guys have done a great job of explaining like the financial aspects of this. So one thing that is a reality in DeFi is people purchase what is hyped, right? I've seen some of the best utilities, I've seen some of the best financial designs not do great on an open market just purely because people look at hype. So this is a year-long project that we're discussing, right, to achieve the returns that you guys are talking about. As far as community building is concerned, as far as, I hate to say it like this simply, but like Discord, Telegram, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, all the fun places that we market these days, do you guys have any partnerships or big names that will be promoting you in their own circles?
Well, I'm not exactly sure what you mean by, like, do we have anybody that's specifically going to partner with us? I can't mention anything right now. I mean, we have some partnerships in the works. I don't want to use names right now, but I think our goal is to, to provide people, like Maxie said, he's a Discord and Twitter guy. I mean, so if there's a community that wants to build somewhere else, I think our goal is to, if you like Discord and Twitter, let's build a community there. If you like Telegram, let's work on that. But yeah, I think our goal is to 100%. I mean, to grow that community. That's going to be our job. We're not going to do Telegram call channels for a year straight. That would do nothing. So I think that, unfortunately, I don't know how to exactly answer that because this has just happened so fast. But I think the whole team can agree that, yeah, the goal is to kind of build this and let the community guide it. And if we can provide it, let's make it happen.
Yeah, that's going to be one of the biggest challenges. I mean, I've shared this with a lot of groups that we work with. So there's a kind of network here. And obviously, as we're bringing new groups in, there's networks there. But the community has to build behind this. I mean, and you know how it is in chats. Like, we're in a bearish market. Everybody's discouraged. Telegram channels are dry and quiet. And it's like the only chats that are really ever popping off are the ones that have green candles, right? But there needs to be a community that's built behind this. But as you know, like, this is on so many people's desks, so to speak, and it's coming across so many eyes because of the marketing efforts that are there. And a lot of people are apprehensive about investing in a seed sale, and I totally understand that. We truly believe that with the pink sale pre-sale, it's going to go really smooth, really fast. And people who are watching this and hearing about it, they're going to take notice. And the reality is the effort that Rippo has put in and the rest of the team in terms of spreading the word, it's going to have to trickle down through the community, yes, but there's already a lot of eyes on it. And let's face it, like it or not, put some green candles on this thing, and we can totally maximize that, right? Because everybody who's already seen it, everybody who's already heard about it is going to have to take notice and realize, oh, what are they actually doing there again? And they're going to come in and ask the questions, and we'll be able to highlight and show them along the way, like, okay, here's where the jackpot's at. Here's the current token price. And so when you have that comparison to say, like the jackpot per token is currently higher than the market price, well, it's a no-brainer. And, Maxie mentioned that earlier about like the floor value of the token. And so it's a no-brainer for me. This can't go to dust because I'm going to be buying up everything that even tempts to drop below launch price because I know the value in that. Like, this is my way of buying Ethereum because I'm not just a altcoin guy. I like some of the big dogs too, and I really think Ethereum is one of the ones that's going to pull away from the pack as we continue to develop in the space. So, yeah,
right, awesome.
Community's hard.
I'll go ahead, Max. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say this is probably the best arbitrage play ever, right? Because if you know math, right, and you have an external pool that's compounding and gaining momentum, and then you have a buy opportunity on a separate protocol, and you hit floor. I kind of hope it does because I got ETH bags that I can cross chain into BNB and buy under Ethereum value and get 2-3x on my money, knowing how much ETH is in the jackpot versus the price of token on a separate chain. It is truly like it's going to be fun because it's an arbitrage. It's the greatest arbitrage play ever. So even though I would love for this to be ultra successful, if it's not, I got ETH bags set and ready, right? Because it's literally it's arbitrage in its truest sense of form, from one chain to the next, and mathematically knowing, hey, if this hits a 200% value under, I can buy in, and my 200% is now worth X amount of Ethereum, and I got the best profit play ever. So I think you'll be seeing swing trading happening a lot, and that's why I agreed to do this, because I was like, well, unfortunately, BSC is known for its volatility, which makes this a really interesting opportunity to get Ethereum at a discounted price.
Yeah, and when you talk about long-term vision, the team has a long-term vision, and I love it because the reality is, yeah, it's hard to start grassroots, anonymous. It's like being new in the space, right? But the proof is in the pudding. So as this project gains traction and momentum and success, the reality is that when this jackpot gets successfully paid out to all holders, and the rest of the world has heard about what the Hungry Hippos are, and that they're legit, and they paid out $250,000, $500,000, maybe more of a jackpot. Well, when the project continues for the next round, it's kind of like that's how this begins to grow. So the vision for this, yeah, it's really great to get this kicked off at the beginning, but the long-term vision of this is that this is the way that we should trade. Like what Maxie was talking about with the arbitrage, cross-chain, and the great opportunity for trading. Like, we should trade tokens that are backed by actual value that cannot be just raped by whoever wants to dump their bags or CD devs and things like that. Like, it is protected, and I'm so excited. Like, man, this is the way it should be. This is the way we should trade and secure some of that value so that really nobody gets screwed.
Agreed. And I'm happy to see a team putting that. I mean, that's what convinced me to talk to Hippo about this AMA was I looked at your white paper. Okay, so we have our first question from the community. And guys, again, if you're new to the Haven and you'd like to ask a community out of VC, you could just type it in the most recent comment and I'll do my best to get to it. Our first one comes from Easy at Bossy Calls. My question, locking 80% of the pre-fill funds in a single stake ETH liquidity pool, in the case of a fluctuation where ETH dumps with the 80% locked, is there really much you can do to prevent loss?
No, there's not much you can do to prevent loss. Obviously, everything kind of moves together, and so if
yeah, actually there is. So without going into it too much, it's not a pool Again, so it's really hard to get this concept through, I think, on BSC because everyone's used to liquidity pools and staking, and that's not what we are. And that's my network that I'm essentially extending to Rippo and everyone else. So there is a way that those assets are protected. I can't go into it. And I can't, like, unfortunately, like there's NDAs on that side. So, but there is a 3-to-1 value set insurance fund on that, right? So the capital lending has about 38,000 Ethereum under asset management. That's insured and protected. So I'll just leave it at that.
Interesting. I have not heard that response before. Okay. Let's see who has a question as well. Does anybody in VC have a question? We got time for about 2. Yeah, I think you stumped us on, on the capital lending subject here. And I'm actually going to DM you because I have a few questions for you, just privately.
Yeah, I can maybe speak to it a little bit. So there is bond issuance in Ethereum that exists.
Really?
So yeah, it's existed for a while, and that is more the centralized route. But when you're dealing with millions in a certain asset class, especially, I mean, if you look at EIB most recently, so that would be early July, issued 120 billion in bond issuance for centralized banking systems in Ethereum. And that was kind of like the first rail chain in banking, international banking, to do so. But privatized, it's been happening since about late 2018. So there is bond issuance. The capital needed is usually like on a 0.75 to 1 scale. But then the way that we've done it, and I'm going to say we and nothing else, but is a 3-to-1 protection ratio for a yearly asset, life asset price, because it's been, we've been doing this for about 4 years, coming up in November. And so we're seen as a more solid risk assessment than, say, a new asset or a new provision asking for a 300% bond issuance and not having anything to back it up. So we have about 4 years of totality payments coming out that shows that we're risk adverse to the market, regardless of an upswing or a downswing trend.
And now I apologize for answering out of turn. Thank you. Thanks, Maxie. Wow.
Yeah, wow. Okay. Ben, you raised your hand, buddy. Do you have a question?
Yes, am I audible?
I'm sorry?
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
You are audible, yes, sir.
Yes, my question is, how do you plan to sustain the project by having a low tax? About like marketing fund, listing, how are you planning to do? Are you willing to get the money from your own pockets, or?
Yeah, I think that don't underestimate how much has already been paid by the team. They've posted that a couple of times. All of the contract development, most of the preliminary marketing, pink sale creation, all of this stuff. I mean, I think that they paid out something like over 30 BNB out of pocket already. This is an established group of leaders. Just because they're anonymous doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing. And so much has been paid out of pocket already, and I know that that will continue to happen.
So how do you plan to make a return from it?
Ben, I think that was just answered, buddy. So your question was, how do they plan to sustain it with low marketing taxes? And they alluded to the fact they've already paid a lot out of pocket and would plan to do so.
Yeah.
HNIC, was that a question for me? Oh, go
ahead.
No, sir, just listening. Just got here.
What's up, man? Um, okay, I'm sorry. So Ben, did that answer the question? I didn't mean to cut anyone off there.
Yes, thank you for the chance.
Thanks for being here, buddy. Okay, we are actually at the end. I guess I'll leave room for one more question if anyone has like a burning one in the VC. Okay, excellent. We are right at the end of the time anyways here, guys. Thank you all for being here. I would love to, if you got a few minutes for me after this, I'll jump in your DMs and we can chat for a sec. Do you have any closing comments before I end the recording?
I would just say from my end, I know it's a lot of technicals to look at, and maybe arbitrage is not something that's on your mind as a BSC player. Just understand that as this launches, I don't fuck with BNB. I'll put it that way. Like that's not usually my playing style. This will be on the BSC side. This will be my first project. But the reason why I said yes to the allocation is this is an experiment to show that staking is how to kill a project because of that sell pressure, right? And so having external capital that continuously grows means that the project never dies because you're not sitting and waiting for BSC to move. That outside capital is continuously compounding. And so regardless of volume, and I think maybe that's what Ben was asking is like how do you plan to keep and sustain this project? The best thing for this project personally, and for any outside sources or anybody that has like some dry powder, is that it tanks, because then your arbitrage set point on BNB versus Ethereum, that liquidity pair would be unheard of, because then you could essentially buy at a 500% discount BNB to Ethereum. So what keeps this project alive is not market making, it's literally organic growth, because your buying opportunity is so leveraged because there's an external source that's continuously growing and an internal source that could be continuously declining. And so a floor set will be priced out because of arbitrage. So it's not going to be internal mathematics. It's not going to be outside marketing sources. It will be interior pressure, because you're going to be able to buy Ethereum at X discount. So it's going to be mathematics and arbitrage that's really going to promote the project. Because who wouldn't want a 500, 600% discount on Ethereum? I know a few people through my networks that would definitely buy some BSC or BNB just to make that happen, because that would be a huge discount and a huge buying opportunity. So hopefully that answered Ben's question, and also my last words.
No, it's great. I've been waiting for ETH to just organically dip this whole month, and it hasn't really played out great for me. Excellent. Okay, guys, I'm going to end the recording here.